after I introduce myself are these things, and it's the very first one is have fun, and that's the thing that stresses people out is like people want to approach it like a method and they want to teach it they want to approach it like a system. I mean, hell, they've come to love systems, so they want a system.
Right.
But like and all that's good, but like if you, it's like do what you got to do, learn what you got to learn, accomplish your mission, go out with discrete things you need to work on. But if you're not enjoying yourself, it is going to have a long. It's like that is a big piece of the puzzle. It might not always be it might not always be the time or place, but like that's such an enormous piece. As you the more you go into it, it's huge.
Okay,
So have it.
Let me cut you off there, Thompson. I totally agree. Let me cut you a little deeper. Okay, so that's good what you're saying. What about the new guy? So new guy, he just found this stuff. He never really went to bars or clubs, and these places feel like goddamn, walking into I don't know some alter universe. We're like, oh my god, it's loud. All these
dude, I'm there. That's me. That's me. So I can talk to. That's me. I'm in. Like, no, I fucking hate. Like, what about you? Did you like clubs? Like, did you think, oh, these are fun, but I'm not.
I always tell guys, like, for me, fuck. I take it back to my first time in a big. It wasn't a club, but it might as well have been. It was a frat party with my brother, and I just graduated from high school and went to a really small town. And I walk into this fucking frat party, and I just felt like the dorkiest dude. I was dressed like a small town dude. All these frat guys were like rich, good-looking, well-dressed kids, and all the girls were hot, and all these football players. I mean, I wanted to fucking go home. I remember thinking, like, I'm so out of place here. I remember thinking, like, wow, I would like to be here, but I shouldn't be here, kind of thing. I don't know how to explain it. I just felt like almost like I didn't deserve to be there or something,
I think it's something to do with, like, people who were cool originally. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, people who, it was a native part of their experience versus people who had to figure the entire fucking thing out.
Okay, right.
Right?
I think I know what you're saying. One thing, so let me explain sense. Okay, so there's two different, because there's something to be said about this for the new guy. Okay, so there's what I was going through when I was at that party. I had been cool in high school, but it was two different worlds, But I knew subconsciously what cool was, and when I walked into this party, I was like, I ain't that anymore. Something's off. Mm-hmm. That's what I see what you're saying. Somebody else could walk in and go, I don't think I'm cool here, but I've never been cool, and I don't even know what.
Yeah, like my reaction in any of that situation was fuck you, fuck all of you, you're stupid. Like, why? You know what? I bet not one of you has the capability. Like when I was younger, it was sort of like none of you even have the capability to talk about Shakespeare, and then once I was like, I was in high level academic environment, so it was sort of like, well, you have the capability, but I don't understand why you don't have the inclination. And then, then get to the Marines, and it was like they didn't have, that was so far, Marines going out was just chaos. They had no interest in it, and I was always very cerebral. So all I knew was that's clearly where hot girls are. So there's a real draw there. My inclination was always, because I would go to those things when I was like especially in the Marines, where they'd be like, come on out. I'd be thinking, I would so much rather play Dungeons and Dragons. Like, to me, to me it was vapid. To me it was vapid. And that's the thing. That's what when I said I want to talk about the idea of cool, it's sort of like, to me, part of this job. So answering your question, because you asked the question about, where this came from was you asked the question about the guy, the beginner who goes out and he goes in the club and he's like, fuck. And so you and I come at it from wildly different standpoints. To me, to you, it was, what do I do? What do I say? For me, it was hatred. For me, it was, this is such a stupid place. Nobody is doing anything.
Assholes, right?
Yeah, like, fuck you. All you're dancing, you're drinking, you're not doing anything productive or interesting. There's no activity other than gyrating. What the fuck? Why is anyone here? I'm judging you all, and you should all go to hell. Like that, right?
I get it. Yeah.
So anyway, that's
that's so good to say that. I've had so many students pull me aside and tell me that, like, what we were out at night. And then, like I said, the only time I could relate to that was like literally my freshman year of college. And I was like, you fucking frat guys, your parents gave you. And listen, here's what's funny, guys listening. Thompson, everything he said is so true and so not true in reality. And everything I'm about to say is true and not true. Because when I was there, I was like, oh, you frat guys, I don't have to buy my friends. You fucking assholes. You're all just a bunch of rich, preppy fucks.
Oh, yeah, by the way, if you're listening to this and you're in college and you think being in a frat means buying your friends, suck it the fuck up and join a frat.
That's what's funny. My next year, I joined a frat, and I was like, I'm an idiot. Why didn't I do this? Like, this is brilliant. But at the time, you know how it is. Like, listen, guys, when we're on the other side of the fence and everybody on the other side is having more fun than us, we have to rationalize in our head ego-saving reasons for why they suck. You know, and why I didn't invite it, but it's not because of me, it's because they suck. You know, we're always going to protect our ego, and we're always going to do that. That's just natural. But and that's probably healthy to some degree. But I think also it's a good thing to go, all right, maybe some of that's true, because some of those frat guys were assholes. Some of their parents did pay for everything, and blah, blah, blah. But a bunch of them were really good people. And if you go to a nightclub in New York or L.A., there are a bunch of cocksuckers in there, but there's also a bunch of really successful, smart, cool people in there that are just having a night off, blowing off some steam, enjoying themselves.
Yeah, and I think that's it. Is for me it was appreciate the value of an experience that doesn't have a lot of, that just doesn't require a lot of horsepower. And I think that for me, it's funny because you and I have very different spiritual perspectives, but it was actually very weirdly coming back into a faith helped me, where it was where I heard somebody say forgiveness is the act of recognizing that other people are like you, and just saying, like, you know, for me, I was like, figure out what people see in the place, just go with them, like, just join them. Like, there's just no finding a reason to be cynical and just having a venomous attitude just didn't serve me, except to sort of to help my ego shield itself. And particularly when there was this other huge component of my soul, which is just like calling out to these girls in the mini dresses, and I'm like, what the fuck? Right? I'm lying to myself. Clearly I want some part of that. I think everybody's kind of got to question that, because I definitely know people who would listen to what we're saying and say it's not worth it, you know? Like, I don't get it. I really don't get it, but I know, there's a point where people say, no, I really would rather bond with somebody, who doesn't like that kind of environment. The gleeful participation in that kind of environment actually is a turnoff.
Okay. And to that person, I'd say, fine. Like, I mean, and that's okay. Here's why we even, a lot of people don't know this. For you new guys out there, if you have a place you can go where there are a shit of girls that you're attracted to, and it's not a bar or a club, please email me and tell me where it is, because I want to go too. Like, I mean, I'm not knocking it. Like, Pendrix, for example, lives down by the beach in Santa Monica, and they don't do a lot of clubs down there because there's a lot of events going on, a lot of beach stuff, and fine. Like, if you can get out of the path of the storm. But what I noticed is the older I got, most cities, there's not a lot of shit going on. And so even like the attorneys and doctors and, the societal elite end up finding their way to a club every now and then. Maybe they're not clubbing 6 nights a week, but I will say that it's hard to find hot chicks in the masses, especially when you're in the beginning of this game and you need to practice.
Totally.
It's a great field to go practice,
Yeah, I feel like the practice, it's funny because you do have to get through that the sort of the vapidity of the environment for the sake of the exercise. And I think a lot of people, you get into sticky territory there, because fundamentally you're a person interacting with other people, and if other people are practice exercises, then you're reducing them to the level of like, you know, zombies in a video game where it's, you know, but you kind of got to do, you kind of got to, you know,
yeah,
you have to.
It's a good point. I will say something that helped me one time. I can't remember. I think it was Style. He's like, one way to get your mindset out of that thing of like, oh, these stupid club bitches. I've got a fucking master's degree and I read 3 books a week, and these fucking girls don't even, you know, they don't even know who the president is right now. What the hell? But at the same time, something Style I think said, he was like, listen, there's something interesting about everybody, and that's one thing I think that having the instructor team the way it is, I kind of like it, is because we are all so different. You know, like we have instructors from every different walk of life that in normal world I might not have. I would have not been friends with him. Like, I don't like you, but we just probably wouldn't have found our way to being friends, some of the guys on the team, you know? But because we are a team, well, no, the same thing.
No, it's fine. You know, it's fine. I'll take out my laughter, you fucking liar, but okay. I'll edit this, you fucking... Whatever, dude. Whatever.
No, leave it. It's fine. Saying, like, one thing it taught me... Well, okay, let me give you a good example. Good example, Thompson. Jim, Mr. M, is one of my best friends I've ever had in my life.
Oh, dude, I know. I hated Asians before I met him.
No, this is what I'm putting out there. But I'm saying, like, had Jim and I not met through love systems, I don't know that we would even cross paths. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But what I learned from this was, from being an instructor, and I've kind of always been like this, but it kind of really opened my eyes to it. It was like, man, hanging out with people that are different than you brings out different pieces of you, you know. Like, I think I kind of enjoy being around ditzy club girls sometimes, not all the time. Some of them drive me fucking nuts, and I can't take too much of it. But I have to say, when you get in there and dig into their mind and get into their world, it actually opens up different pieces of you, and it's kind of a fun little puzzle to be like, what is going on in that head? Like, you may not read a lot of books, but you're intelligent on some level of life. What is it? Okay, you know more about this or more about that, and then, like, you know, meeting a really intellectual guy, or meeting a really, you know, if you only hang out with deeply intellectual, you know, thinkers of the world, well, you're gonna learn a lot about books, but you may not necessarily learn a lot about life. You know, some of my really intellectual friends, I'm like, yeah, but you're not, you know, you don't really live life that much. You just hide and read books and do this and that.
Well, I'm with you to a point, but I guess I'll play devil. I mean, because again, I've had to adapt that sort of cynical perspective to the point where, I mean, sure, I banged this chick in Thailand, and like, and he's like, what was her name? I was like, I'm not totally sure. He's like, what does she do for a living? And I was like, I'm not totally sure of that either. He goes, oh, so it was a real meeting of minds then. And I was, you know, just like, so I'm not, you know,
it's not a bad thing. That's not a
no.
I guarantee you that. Like, I've had a million encounters like that, and you know what? When I was younger, I used to feel bad about them, but it was because I was like, I'm gonna say what she wants to hear and try to bang her. Now I'm like, dude, I'm gonna make this girl have so much fucking fun, and we're gonna have fun together, and I'm gonna feel her out. If she's deep, here's what it is, guys. Here's you listen. What it is about going to clubs, or you need to do it all. Go to clubs, go to intellectual type situations, go to the beach, get around as many different types.
What I always say is, I always say, get good at it and then judge it. Like, now I pulled a bunch of bitches out of the club. So as I become a douchebag as I'm talking, I've pulled a bunch of lovely young women from a night environment. But I mean, it took that, you know, where it's like I still kind of think that environment, I can have fun because part of it is, and look, you know, if you're listening to this, make that an exercise. Learn how to have fun anywhere. Like, if it sounds awkward or shitty, learn how to have fun anywhere. But the thing is, now I look back at, I kind of look at those places and I think, all right, well, 18-year-old Thompson was onto something. But I also feel like I'm a lot more qualified to say that now, because
sure.
And more to the point, it's not going to dent, bend, or affect my ego. It's not going to make my day worse or better if I end up going there. If that's where my friends want to go, then sweet, I'll go and I'll be in club mode. I have, you know, if you don't like that environment, I am so with you.
Yep.
I'm with you 100%. But what I will say is you owe it to yourself to have that mode for a lot of reasons. Be adaptable, be flexible, because you don't know what situation you're going to find yourself in, and life is too short. Open your heart, open your soul for those new things that come in. I actually don't. I'm not going to. And Helen, I'm the one who calls himself a Christian. I don't agree necessarily with what Braddock said. Where sometimes you talk to that club girl and you're like, no, you should be spayed. You know, like it's.
Listen, I'm with you. I would say to save your judgment, like you said. Okay, here's the deal. Let me ask you this, guys. Like, you guys listening, if you're going out to the club and you're like, I don't want to go, these girls are. What is your agenda? Well, why the fuck are you even going out? If you're going out to find your wife on any given night, you're wrong, and you're going to be terrible at game. If you're going out, like Thompson
totally,
said, we're trying to measure, like, what I was trying to break down is Thompson's like, go out and have fun. And I was thinking, like, okay, let's drill into that a little bit. For guys that are super rational and logical and like to fucking read, and I mean, what's funny is me and Thompson, like we've talked about this before, I'm probably the most antisocial motherfucker you've ever met. Like, I'm telling you, I read all the time. I have audiobooks all the time. If I walk down the street, I have my iPod in, listening to some philosophical fucking audio. I'm deep logical guy. And so for me, one of the reasons I learned to like going to the clubs is because it pulled me out of that. Now, it's hard at the beginning because I was like, no, I was seriously in my head. I was comparing myself to every guy. Every time a girl opened her mouth, I would judge her and be like, oh, you're dumb, or oh, you're this, or you're here, you know, or judge her job or her education. Instead, now I'm just like, I know this sounds really weird, but I just go, man, I love girls. Girls are fun. Let's go play with these girls. And that's all I think about.
Yeah.
And then I literally think I'm on a journey, I'm on a mission, and I'm not looking for my wife. I'm not against marriage. I'm just saying, like, I'm not looking for those things like in every girl I see. I'm screening for things. I'm more curious. What's this girl about? What's this puzzle like I'm talking to here? And then the main thing to learn to have fun is learn to connect on multiple levels. Why the fuck do you always have to connect about Nietzsche? I mean, why does it always have to be that? Like, dude, some girls,
especially like, Nietzsche.
One thing Thompson said, he was like, date a bunch of them before you judge it. It's weird because a lot of the girls I wrote down on paper that I was like, this would be my dream girl. But when I met those girls, I was like,
speaking of dream girls, Asa Akira, if you're listening to this, I love you, honey. Anyway.
One thing that I learned about my dream girl, these super intellectual types, is I learned, and listen, this is generalities, but something I learned is a lot of times those girls that you think are just like you that read Nietzsche and this and that and the other, they've made the same fucking mistake you have. They didn't go learn how to have fun. They didn't learn how to be sexy. They didn't learn how to be feminine. They didn't learn how to push your buttons and challenge you, because you learn that in the field. Like, girls wouldn't call it being in the field. They'd call it going out and dating a bunch of dudes. But girls that have dated a bunch of guys, I'm not talking about slutty girls. I'm just saying, like, a girl that's put time into her social life, knows what it's like to be a weak girlfriend. She knows what it's like to be a challenging girlfriend. She knows what it's like to not take your shit and have boundaries. But then some girls that are really smart and sophisticated have both. And that's kind of what I think, for me personally, I'm waiting for. I love sophisticated, well-read girls that are passionate about life. But I also like a girl that's had a good social life and dated around and knows when I'm being a scumbag and won't take my shit, but also knows how to be feminine and sexy. And so, girls aren't born with that, just like you're not born with game. You learn that. You pick up those skills doing that. So you guys out there that are really judgmental about clubs, I'm telling you, I've had multiple. I've had two separate 2-hour conversations at a club with a brain surgeon that was hot as fuck, and she spoke like 5 languages. So don't tell me like there's no intellectual smart. Thompson,
dude. I mean, it's rare. No. When last time I was at the night before the Playboy workshop. I don't know if I told you the story, but it was like I was talking to this teacher, and we were getting into a conversation about poetry, and I ended up like in the club like writing a poem for her. Like,
wow,
there's a weird, it's one of these weird things. And then she wrote me one, and she was just terrible. But the whatever, we can't all be geniuses. But it's just it was so weird because it was like. Hell, and from a more tactical perspective, and maybe more cynical one, you can also use that anytime that you have those interactions. You can actually use that to build momentum in your game and say, "Who would have thought we met here?" It's like.
Oh yeah. One of the lines I got from Thompson I stole it from Thompson years ago. All right, we got to tell them a new story of where we met. I'm not telling people we met in a club. You know, I love that.
Yeah.
Honestly, but like, I think, guys, like something we're going to talk about maybe next audio series or next time Thompson and I do one of these was kind of the limitations of game. And I think we should save that, Thompson, because I think we could do a full hour on it. You know?
Yeah.
But just to continue with what we got going here, guys, I think this is really key because I remember hearing people say, just have fun. I was like, fuck you. If I could do that, I wouldn't be listening to this goddamn audio, you know? But I think when you like put the microscope on that, I think we're tapping into some of the reasons that you're not having fun. You're being like, Thompson really nailed it. He was like, I was judging these motherfuckers. They're not, I'm better. I'm smarter than them, but somehow they still think they're better than me. This cruel world. How are these morons fucking having more fun than me? They should know that they suck. I mean, if you go in with that mindset, of course you're gonna get what you're looking for. I mean,
well, and I want to be really clear. I haven't really lost my mind and suddenly changed my opinion in that direction. I'm not actually, like I said, I think 18-year-old Thompson was onto something. It's that I look at having fun as part of the mission. Like, I think the thing is, like, people say have fun. They say it in this kind of offhanded way that sounds like empty advice. It's not. It's mission critical advice. You have fun and you make that your mission.
You're right.
You go out with the purpose of having fun. Use all the other shit. Use everything else you learn. But if you don't make having fun part of your mission, it will hurt your game. Guys go into this and they give a lot. The thing is, what I see a lot of reasons. Guys give a million reasons. And here's the thing. Braddock and I come at this from slightly different angles. I don't care what your reasons are. They're right. The music is too loud. The guys are stupid. The girls are stupid. Totally. The drinks are too expensive. Everyone's drunk. Everyone's having stupid conversations. Guess what, motherfucker? You are right. You are 100% correct. Shut the fuck up and have fun. Like,
you should learn to, I mean, one thing I just as a human being, fuck girls. One of the best shifts I made in my life was making my rules for having fun in any situation way, way easier to hit. I used to be like, if this person's not
that's really, really wise, dude. That's really, really wise. Yeah.
Just remember when you're
your rules for having one. That's so true. Your rules for having fun are way more relaxed. That's really wise.